Introduction to Change Management. Change management is a structured approach for transitioning individuals, teams, and organizations from a current state to a desired future state. It involves preparing, equipping, and supporting individuals to successfully adopt change, thereby driving organizational success and outcomes. Effective change management minimizes disruption, reduces resistance, and ensures that new initiatives are fully embraced and utilized. It is not merely about implementing new systems or processes, but fundamentally about guiding people through the emotional and practical journey of adaptation. Understanding its core principles is crucial for any leader or professional seeking to navigate the complexities of modern business environments. This discipline integrates various fields, including psychology, sociology, and business strategy, to create a holistic framework for transformation. Ultimately, successful change management translates directly into sustained competitive advantage and improved organizational performance. The primary goal of change management is to maximize the benefits of change while minimizing its negative impacts. This involves proactive planning, clear communication, and continuous support throughout the change lifecycle. Without a deliberate approach, change initiatives often fail to achieve their intended objectives, leading to wasted resources and employee disengagement. It addresses the human side of change, recognizing that people are at the heart of any successful transformation. By focusing on individual transitions, organizations can build resilience and foster a culture that embraces continuous improvement. This strategic discipline ensures that investments in new technologies, processes, or structures yield their full potential, making it an indispensable capability for contemporary organizations. Defining organizational change. Organizational change refers to any alteration in an organization's structure, strategy, culture, processes, or technology. These changes can range from minor adjustments, like updating a software system, to major transformations, such as a merger or acquisition. The scope of change can impact a single department, multiple divisions, or the entire enterprise. It is a dynamic and continuous process, driven by both internal and external factors. Understanding the specific nature and scale of the change is critical for developing an effective management strategy. Without a clear definition, efforts to manage the change can become unfocused and ineffective. Therefore, precise identification of what is changing and why is the foundational step. Changes can be classified into different categories based on their nature and impact. Developmental change involves improving existing processes or skills, often incremental and less disruptive. Transitional change moves an organization from an old state to a new state, requiring the dismantling of old ways and the implementation of new ones, like restructuring. Transformational change is the most radical, involving a fundamental shift in an organization's mission, culture, or core operations, often in response to significant external pressures. Each category demands a tailored approach to change management, recognizing the varying levels of complexity and resistance they might evoke. Recognizing these distinctions helps in anticipating challenges and allocating resources appropriately. Why change management matters. Change management is crucial because it significantly increases the likelihood of successful project and initiative outcomes. Studies consistently show that projects with effective change management are far more likely to meet their objectives, stay on budget, and finish on time. Without it, even well-conceived strategies can falter due to employee resistance, lack of adoption, or insufficient preparation. It helps organizations realize the full return on investment, ROI, of their change initiatives by ensuring that the new processes or technologies are actually used and embraced by the workforce. This discipline bridges the gap between strategic intent and operational reality, translating vision into tangible results. It mitigates risks associated with human factors, which are often the most unpredictable elements in any transformation. Therefore, investing in robust change management is an investment in the overall success and sustainability of the organization. Beyond project success, change management fosters a more resilient and adaptable organizational culture. By systematically addressing the human side of change, It builds trust, reduces anxiety, and empowers employees to become active participants in the transformation process. This leads to higher employee morale, increased productivity, and a greater capacity for future changes. Organizations that consistently manage change well develop a competitive advantage, as they can respond more quickly and effectively to market shifts and emerging opportunities. It minimizes the negative impacts such as decreased productivity, loss of key talent, and customer dissatisfaction that often accompany poorly managed transitions. Ultimately, it ensures that an organization can not only survive, but thrive in an ever-evolving global landscape. Types of organizational change. Organizational change manifests in various forms, each requiring a distinct approach. Developmental change focuses on improving existing processes, skills, or methods, often incremental and less disruptive. Examples include refining a sales technique, upgrading software to a newer version, or enhancing customer service protocols. This type of change typically builds upon current foundations, aiming for optimization rather than radical overhaul. It is often perceived as less threatening by employees, making adoption relatively smoother. The emphasis is on continuous improvement and efficiency gains within established frameworks. Developmental changes are a constant feature of healthy, evolving organizations, ensuring they remain competitive and relevant. Transitional change involves moving from an old state to a new state, requiring the dismantling of existing structures and the implementation of entirely new ones. This includes initiatives like organizational restructuring, mergers and acquisitions, or the adoption of new business models. It often involves a period of significant disruption, as people must unlearn old habits and embrace new ways of working. The bridge metaphor is often used to describe this type of change, as it connects a clearly defined past with a clearly defined future. Transitional changes demand robust planning and communication to guide individuals through the uncertainty. Finally, transformational change is the most profound, involving a fundamental shift in an organization's mission, culture, or core operations. This radical overhaul often occurs in response to major external pressures, such as disruptive technologies or significant market shifts. It redefines the organization's identity and purpose, requiring a complete paradigm shift. Examples include a company pivoting its entire business model or a cultural shift towards innovation. Transformational changes are highly complex, unpredictable, and require extensive leadership commitment and employee engagement to succeed. They are characterized by a lack of a clear, future state at the outset, as the path often emerges through the change process itself. The human element in change. At the core of any successful organizational change lies the human element. People are not merely passive recipients of change. They are active participants whose attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors ultimately determine the outcome. Ignoring the human side often leads to resistance, disengagement, and ultimately, project failure. Understanding individual responses to change, which can range from excitement to fear, is paramount. Effective change management acknowledges that change is a personal journey for each employee, requiring empathy, support, and clear communication. It's about helping individuals navigate uncertainty and adapt to new ways of working. When employees feel heard and supported, they are far more likely to embrace the change and contribute positively to its success. Therefore, focusing on the people aspect is not a soft skill, but a critical, strategic imperative. Addressing the human element involves several key considerations. Firstly, recognizing that individuals process change at different paces and in different ways is essential. Some may quickly adapt, while others require more time and reassurance. Secondly, providing opportunities for employees to voice concerns and ask questions helps mitigate anxiety and builds trust. Thirdly, equipping individuals with the necessary skills and knowledge through training and development empowers them to perform effectively in the new environment. Finally, celebrating successes, even small ones, reinforces positive behaviors and maintains momentum. By prioritizing the human experience, organizations can transform potential obstacles into opportunities for growth and innovation. This holistic approach ensures that the workforce remains engaged, productive, and resilient throughout the entire change process. Resistance to change. Understanding causes. Resistance to change is a natural human reaction and a common challenge in any transformation effort. It is rarely malicious. Instead, it often stems from legitimate concerns and fears. Understanding the root causes of resistance is the first step towards effectively managing it. One primary cause is fear of the unknown, as people naturally prefer predictability and security. Employees may worry about job security, loss of status, or the inability to master new skills. Another significant factor is a perceived loss of control, where individuals feel that decisions are being made without their input or consideration. This can lead to feelings of powerlessness and resentment. Additionally, past negative experiences with change initiatives can breed cynicism and distrust, making employees wary of new proposals. People may also resist if they do not understand the rationale behind the change or perceive it as unnecessary, believing the current state is perfectly adequate. Finally, a lack of confidence in leadership or the change process itself can fuel resistance, as employees question the competence or motives of those driving the transformation. Addressing these underlying causes directly is far more effective than simply trying to suppress resistant behaviors. Further causes of resistance include differing assessments of the change's impact. Employees might genuinely believe the proposed change is detrimental to their work, their team, or the organization as a whole. They may have valuable insights that are being overlooked. Misinformation or rumors can also spread rapidly, creating anxiety and distorting the true nature of the change. A lack of involvement in the planning process can make employees feel disrespected and disengaged, leading them to resist changes they had no hand in shaping. Furthermore, changes that disrupt established social networks or team dynamics can be met with strong opposition, as people value their relationships and sense of belonging. Finally, simply the effort required to learn new skills or adapt to new routines can be a deterrent, especially if employees are already feeling overwhelmed. Recognizing this multifaceted nature of resistance allows change managers to develop targeted strategies that address specific concerns rather than applying a one-size-fits-all solution. Benefits of effective change management. Effective change management yields numerous tangible and intangible benefits from organizations. Firstly, it significantly increases the probability of project success, ensuring that initiatives meet their objectives, stay within budget, and are completed on schedule. This directly translates into a higher return on investment, ROI, for change-related projects, as new systems and processes are fully adopted and utilized. Secondly, it minimizes employee resistance and fosters greater engagement, leading to smoother transitions and reduced disruption to productivity. When employees feel supported and involved, their morale remains high, and they are more likely to embrace new ways of working. This proactive approach prevents costly delays, rework, and potential abandonment of critical projects. It also helps in retaining valuable talent, as employees are less likely to seek opportunities elsewhere when they feel valued and guided through periods of uncertainty. Ultimately, it ensures that the strategic intent of the change is fully realized at the operational level. Beyond immediate project benefits, effective change management builds organizational capacity for future change. By developing a repeatable and scalable process for managing transitions, organizations become more agile and resilient in the face of continuous market shifts. It cultivates a culture of adaptability and continuous improvement, where employees are more comfortable with evolution and innovation. This enhanced adaptability translates into a significant competitive advantage, allowing the organization to respond more quickly and effectively to new opportunities and threats. Furthermore, it improves communication channels, fosters stronger leadership, and enhances overall employee satisfaction. The organization becomes a learning entity capable of self-correction and sustained growth. These long-term benefits contribute to a healthier, more dynamic, and ultimately more successful enterprise capable of thriving in an ever-changing global environment. Role of a change manager. The change manager plays a pivotal role in guiding an organization through periods of transformation. This individual is responsible for developing and implementing strategies that ensure employees adopt and utilize new processes, systems, and behaviors effectively. Their primary objective is to minimize resistance and maximize engagement, thereby ensuring the successful realization of change initiatives. This involves acting as a bridge between project teams and affected employees, translating technical details into understandable impacts for the workforce. They are not typically responsible for the technical aspects of the change, but rather for the human side of the transition. A successful change manager possesses strong communication, interpersonal, and strategic thinking skills. They must be able to influence without direct authority, build consensus, and navigate complex organizational dynamics. Their role is crucial for ensuring that the investment in change yields its intended benefits and that the organization achieves its strategic goals. Key responsibilities of a change manager include conducting change impact assessments to understand how the change will affect different groups of employees. They also develop comprehensive communication plans, ensuring timely and relevant information reaches all stakeholders. Training programs are designed and coordinated to equip employees with the necessary skills for the new environment. Furthermore, they actively manage resistance, identifying root causes and implementing strategies to address concerns and build buy-in. Coaching and supporting leaders and managers to effectively sponsor and communicate the change to their teams is another critical function. Finally, the change manager monitors the adoption rate of the change and gathers feedback to make necessary adjustments, ensuring the change is sustained and embedded within the organizational culture. This multifaceted role requires a blend of strategic foresight, tactical execution, and empathetic leadership. Lewin's three-step model, Kurt Lewin's change management model, developed in the 1940s, remains one of the foundational frameworks for understanding organizational change. It proposes a simple yet powerful three-step process: unfreeze, change, and refreeze. The unfreeze stage involves preparing the organization for change by challenging existing norms, behaviors, and beliefs. This step is crucial for creating a sense of urgency and demonstrating the need for change, helping people understand why the current state is no longer sustainable. It often involves communicating the problems with the current state and the potential benefits of the future state. Without effectively unfreezing, resistance is likely to be high, as people see no compelling reason to alter their established ways. This initial phase aims to break down the status quo and create an openness to new ideas. The change stage is where the actual transformation takes place. This involves implementing new processes, systems, structures, or behaviors. During this phase, communication is vital to keep everyone informed and engaged, reducing uncertainty and anxiety. Support mechanisms, such as training and coaching, are essential to help individuals adapt to the new ways of working. This stage can be the most challenging and chaotic, as people navigate unfamiliar territory and grapple with new demands. It requires patience, flexibility, and continuous reinforcement. Finally, the refreeze stage aims to stabilize the organization in its new state, making the changes permanent. This involves embedding the new behaviors and processes into the organizational culture, policies, and reward systems. Without refreezing, there is a risk that the organization will revert to old habits, undoing the progress made. This step ensures that the new equilibrium is sustained, solidifying the benefits of the change and preventing relapse. It integrates the new ways of working into the daily fabric of the organization, making them the new normal. Kotter's 8-step process for leading change. John Kotter's 8-step process for leading change is a widely recognized and practical framework for implementing large-scale organizational transformations. It emphasizes the importance of leadership, and communication throughout the change journey. The first 3 steps focus on creating the climate for change, establishing a sense of urgency, forming a powerful guiding coalition, and creating a vision and strategy. Establishing urgency involves examining market and competitive realities and identifying and discussing crises, potential crises, or major opportunities. Forming a guiding coalition means assembling a group with enough power to lead the change effort, encouraging them to work together as a team. Creating a vision and strategy involves developing a clear picture of the future and how to achieve it, which helps direct the change effort and motivate people. These initial steps are critical for building momentum and ensuring a strong foundation for the transformation. The next 4 steps focus on engaging and enabling the whole organization, communicating the change vision, empowering broad-based action, generating short-term wins, and consolidating gains and producing more change. Communicating the vision requires using every possible vehicle to communicate the new vision and strategies, and teaching new behaviors by the example of the guiding coalition. Empowering broad-based action means removing obstacles, changing systems or structures that undermine the vision, and encouraging risk-taking and non-traditional ideas, activities, and actions. Generating short-term wins involves planning for visible performance improvements, creating them, and recognizing and rewarding employees who made the wins possible. Consolidating gains and producing more change means using increased credibility to change systems, structures, and policies that don't fit the vision. Hiring, promoting, and developing employees who can implement the vision, and reinvigorating the process with new projects, themes, and change agents. The final step, anchoring new approaches in the culture, involves creating better performance through customer and productivity-oriented behavior, more and better leadership, and more effective management. This ensures the change becomes deeply embedded and sustained over time. ADKAR model for individual change. The ADKAR model, developed by Prosi, is a goal-oriented change management model that guides individual change. ADKAR is an acronym for Awareness, Desire, Knowledge, Ability, and Reinforcement. It focuses on the individual journey through change, recognizing that organizational change ultimately depends on individuals making their own successful transitions. The model provides a clear framework for understanding and supporting how individuals experience change. It helps change practitioners identify where an individual or group is struggling with a change and then apply targeted interventions. By addressing each element sequentially, the model ensures that people are prepared and supported at every stage of their personal change journey. This structured approach significantly increases the likelihood of successful adoption and utilization of new processes or systems. The change curve. Emotional responses. The change curve is a psychological model that illustrates the typical emotional stages individuals experience during significant change. It's based on Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's grief model and adapted for organizational contexts. Understanding this curve helps leaders and change managers anticipate and address employee reactions, providing appropriate support at each stage. The curve typically begins with shock denial, where individuals may struggle to accept the reality of the change, often dismissing its implications. This is followed by sheer anger as the reality sets in, leading to feelings of threat, frustration, or even hostility. During these initial stages, productivity often declines, and resistance is at its peak. Recognizing these natural human responses is crucial for empathetic leadership and targeted interventions. It is important for leaders to validate these emotions rather than dismiss them, creating a safe space for employees to process their feelings. As individuals move through the curve, they typically enter the bargaining/experimentation stage, where they might try to find ways to avoid the change or test out new approaches. This can be a period of tentative exploration and seeking solutions. This then transitions into depression-confusion, where people may feel overwhelmed, lose motivation, and experience a dip in confidence, often mourning the loss of the old ways. Finally, individuals reach the acceptance-integration stage, where they come to terms with the change, begin to embrace new behaviors, and integrate them into their work. Productivity and morale start to recover and eventually exceed previous levels. The speed at which individuals move through the curve varies greatly, and some may get stuck in certain stages. Effective change management involves providing tailored support, communication, and training to help people navigate each stage, ultimately accelerating their journey to acceptance and active participation. This model underscores that change is not just a logical process, but a deeply emotional one. McKinsey's 7S Framework. The McKinsey 7S Framework is a management model that analyzes 7 key internal elements of an organization to assess how well they are aligned to achieve a specific objective, particularly during times of change. It posits that for an organization to perform well, these 7 elements must be consistent and mutually reinforcing. The framework categorizes these elements into hard and soft S. The hard elements are strategy, structure, and systems, which are easier to identify and influence. Strategy defines the organization's plan for achieving competitive advantage. Structure refers to the organization's hierarchy and reporting lines. Systems are the formal and informal processes and procedures that guide daily activities. This holistic view ensures that change initiatives consider all interdependent aspects of the organization, preventing unintended consequences and fostering comprehensive alignment. It provides a diagnostic tool to understand the current state and design a coherent future state. The soft elements of the 7S framework are shared values, skills, staff, and style, which are often more challenging to define and influence, but are equally critical for successful change. Shared values are the core beliefs and guiding principles of the organization's culture. Skills refer to the capabilities and competencies of the employees. Staff relates to the people within the organization and how they are developed, motivated, and rewarded. Style refers to the leadership approach and the way managers interact with employees. The framework emphasizes that all 7 elements are interconnected. A change in one element will inevitably affect the others. Therefore, successful change management requires aligning all 7 S's to support the desired future state. For example, a new strategy might require changes in structure, systems, skills, and even shared values to be truly effective. This integrated approach ensures that change is not just superficial, but deeply embedded within the organizational fabric, leading to sustainable transformation. PROCE's change management methodology is a structured, repeatable, and scalable approach to managing the people side of change. It integrates a research-based individual change model, ADKAR, with a 3-phase organizational change process. Its methodology emphasizes that successful organizational change is the cumulative result of successful individual changes. It provides practical tools and processes for change practitioners to apply across various types of projects and organizational contexts. The methodology is built on extensive research and best practices gathered from thousands of organizations worldwide, making it a highly credible and widely adopted framework. It offers a systematic way to plan, implement, and reinforce change, ensuring that the human element is effectively addressed throughout the transformation journey. By providing a clear roadmap, PROCE's approach helps organizations achieve higher adoption rates and realize the full benefits of their initiatives. Agile approach to change. The agile approach to change management is gaining prominence, particularly in environments characterized by rapid innovation and continuous disruption. Unlike traditional, linear change models, agile change embraces iterative cycles, flexibility, and responsiveness. It recognizes that in fast-paced contexts, a rigid, long-term plan can quickly become obsolete. Instead, agile change focuses on delivering value in smaller, manageable increments, allowing for continuous feedback and adaptation. This approach is highly collaborative, involving frequent interaction between change leaders, project teams, and affected stakeholders. It prioritizes learning and adjustment over strict adherence to an initial plan. The core principle is to be ready to adapt the change initiative itself based on real-time insights and evolving needs. This iterative nature helps to reduce risk, as issues can be identified and addressed early in the process, preventing larger failures down the line. Key characteristics of an agile approach to change include short cycles of planning and execution, often called sprints or iterations. Each cycle involves a small, focused change, followed by immediate feedback and evaluation. This allows for rapid learning and adjustments, ensuring that the change remains relevant and effective. Emphasis is placed on continuous communication and transparency, keeping all stakeholders informed of progress and any necessary pivots. Empowering self-organizing teams to make decisions and adapt their approach is also crucial. Rather than a top-down mandate, agile change fosters a culture of shared ownership and continuous improvement. It is particularly well suited for changes in technology, product development, or any area where requirements are likely to evolve. By embracing uncertainty and promoting continuous learning, organizations can implement changes more quickly, efficiently, and effectively, leading to greater organizational agility and resilience in dynamic environments. Comparing change models. Various change management models offer different perspectives and tools for guiding organizational transformations. Lewin's three-step model provides a foundational, linear understanding of change, emphasizing the need to unfreeze, change, and refreeze. It is particularly useful for understanding the basic dynamics of transition and ensuring stability post-change. Kotter's 8-step process offers a more detailed, sequential roadmap for leading large-scale change, focusing heavily on leadership, communication, and building momentum. It is highly prescriptive and effective for complex top-down initiatives. The ADKAR model, on the other hand, focuses on the individual's journey through change, providing a diagnostic tool to identify and address specific barriers to adoption. It is excellent for understanding the human side and tailoring support. Each of these models has its strengths and is best suited for different contexts or aspects of a change initiative. Understanding their core tenets allows change managers to select the most appropriate framework or combine elements from several models to create a hybrid approach. Beyond these, the McKinsey 7S framework provides a diagnostic tool for aligning various organizational elements during change, ensuring a holistic approach. Prussy's methodology integrates ADKAR with a phased organizational process, offering a comprehensive, research-based toolkit. The agile approach to change, in contrast, prioritizes flexibility, iteration, and continuous adaptation, making it ideal for dynamic and uncertain environments. When comparing these models, consider the nature of the change, incremental versus transformational, the organizational culture, hierarchical versus agile, the desired pace of change, and the level of employee involvement required. There is no single best model. Rather, the most effective approach often involves drawing insights and tools from multiple frameworks. A skilled change manager can synthesize these models to create a robust and tailored strategy that addresses the unique challenges and opportunities of a specific change initiative, ensuring a higher probability of success and sustained benefits. Assessing readiness for change. Assessing organizational readiness for change is a critical preliminary step before initiating any major transformation. This involves evaluating the organization's capacity and willingness to undertake and successfully implement a change initiative. Readiness assessment helps identify potential barriers and enablers, allowing change managers to proactively address challenges and leverage strengths. Key areas of assessment include leadership commitment, employee engagement, cultural adaptability, resource availability, and past experiences with change. Without a thorough understanding of readiness, organizations risk launching initiatives into an unprepared environment, which often leads to increased resistance, delays, and outright failure. It provides valuable insights into the current state of the organization's ability to absorb and integrate new ways of working. This diagnostic process is not about finding reasons to avoid change, but rather about building a solid foundation for its success. A comprehensive readiness assessment typically involves gathering data through various methods. These can include surveys to gauge employee perceptions and attitudes, interviews with key stakeholders and leaders, focus groups to explore specific concerns, and analysis of existing organizational data such as past project success rates or employee turnover. The findings from this assessment inform the development of a tailored change management strategy. For example, if leadership commitment is low, efforts might focus on building a stronger sponsorship coalition. If employee morale is poor, communication and engagement plans will need to be particularly robust and empathetic. The assessment should also identify specific areas of resistance and potential champions of change. By understanding where the organization stands, change managers can design interventions that are precisely targeted to improve readiness, mitigate risks, and maximize the chances of a smooth and successful transition. This proactive approach transforms potential weaknesses into actionable strategies for success. Developing a change strategy. Developing a robust change strategy is the blueprint for guiding an organization through transformation. It translates the overall vision for change into actionable plans and defines how the human side of the change will be managed. A well-articulated strategy ensures alignment across all levels of the organization and provides a clear roadmap for implementation. It typically outlines the scope of the change, key objectives, critical success factors, and the overall approach to engaging stakeholders and managing resistance. This strategy is not a one-time document, but an evolving framework that adapts as the change progresses. It should be informed by the readiness assessment, leveraging strengths and mitigating identified risks. Without a clear strategy, change efforts can become fragmented, inconsistent, and ultimately ineffective, leading to confusion and frustration among employees. Therefore, investing time in strategic planning is paramount for successful outcomes. Key components of a change strategy include a clear definition of the desired future state and the benefits it will bring. It also identifies the specific groups of employees who will be impacted and how, allowing for targeted interventions. The strategy should detail the communication plan, outlining messages, channels, and timing to ensure transparency and understanding. A sponsorship roadmap is crucial, defining the roles and responsibilities of leaders in championing the change. Plans for resistance management, training, and coaching are also integral, addressing how employees will be supported through their individual transitions. Furthermore, the strategy should include metrics for measuring success and a plan for reinforcing the change to ensure its sustainability. By integrating these elements, a comprehensive change strategy provides the necessary structure and guidance to navigate the complexities of organizational transformation, ensuring that the change is not only implemented, but also adopted and sustained over the long term. It serves as the guiding star for the entire change journey. Communication planning for change. Effective communication is arguably the most critical component of successful change management. A robust communication plan ensures that all stakeholders receive timely, relevant, and consistent information throughout the change process. Its purpose is to build awareness, foster understanding, address concerns, and motivate engagement. Without clear and consistent communication, rumors can spread, anxiety can escalate, and resistance can solidify. The plan should define key messages, target audiences, communication channels, and the frequency of communication. Messages must be tailored to different groups, acknowledging their unique perspectives and concerns. It's not just about what is communicated, but also how and when. A proactive approach to communication helps manage expectations, build trust, and create a sense of shared purpose, transforming potential obstacles into opportunities for dialogue and collaboration. Therefore, strategic communication is the backbone of any successful change initiative. Key elements of a comprehensive communication plan include identifying all relevant stakeholders, from senior leadership to frontline employees and external partners. For each group, specific communication objectives should be set, such as increase awareness of the new system's benefits or address concerns about job security. The plan must detail the core messages, ensuring they are consistent, clear, and compelling, explaining the why, what, and how of the change. Appropriate communication channels should be selected, ranging from town halls and newsletters to team meetings and one-on-one conversations, considering the audience's preferences and the message's sensitivity. A realistic timeline for communication activities is essential, ensuring messages are delivered at opportune moments throughout the change lifecycle. Finally, the plan should include mechanisms for feedback, allowing employees to ask questions and voice concerns, and for the change team to monitor the effectiveness of their communication efforts. This iterative process of communicating, listening, and adjusting ensures that information flows effectively, fostering transparency and building a supportive environment for change. Stakeholder engagement and management. Stakeholder engagement and management are fundamental to successful change initiatives. Stakeholders are any individuals or groups who can affect or are affected by the change, including employees, customers, suppliers, investors, and even regulatory bodies. Identifying and understanding these diverse groups is the first step. Effective engagement involves proactively involving stakeholders in the change process, listening to their concerns, and addressing their needs. It's about building relationships, fostering trust, and securing buy-in. Ignoring key stakeholders can lead to significant resistance, project delays, and even outright failure. A well-managed engagement strategy ensures that those impacted by the change feel heard and valued, increasing their willingness to support and adopt new ways of working. This proactive approach transforms potential adversaries into allies, leveraging their insights and influence for the benefit of the change. A robust stakeholder management plan typically involves several key activities. Firstly, a thorough stakeholder analysis is conducted to identify all relevant parties, assess their level of influence, and understand their potential impact on the change. This helps prioritize engagement efforts. Secondly, tailored engagement strategies are developed for different stakeholder groups, recognizing that a one-size-fits-all approach is ineffective. These strategies might include regular meetings, workshops, one-on-one coaching, or specific communication campaigns. Thirdly, clear roles and responsibilities are assigned for engaging with each stakeholder group, ensuring consistent and coordinated efforts. Fourthly, mechanisms for feedback and ongoing dialogue are established, allowing stakeholders to voice concerns and contribute ideas throughout the change lifecycle. Finally, continuous monitoring and adaptation of the engagement strategy are crucial, as stakeholder needs and attitudes can evolve. By systematically engaging and managing stakeholders, change managers can build a strong coalition of support, mitigate risks, and ensure that the change is embraced by all critical parties, leading to more sustainable and successful outcomes. Building a sponsorship coalition. Effective sponsorship is consistently identified as the #1 factor in successful change initiatives. A sponsorship coalition refers to a group of senior leaders who actively and visibly champion the change throughout the organization. These leaders provide the necessary authority, resources, and credibility to drive the transformation forward. Building a strong coalition involves identifying key individuals who have the influence and commitment to support the change. It's not enough for leaders to simply approve a change. They must actively advocate for it, communicate its importance, and visibly demonstrate their commitment. Without strong sponsorship, change efforts often flounder, as employees look to their leaders for guidance and reassurance during times of uncertainty. A unified and visible front from leadership signals to the entire organization that the change is a priority and is here to stay. This collective leadership provides the necessary momentum and legitimacy for the change to take root. Key activities in building and maintaining a sponsorship coalition include identifying potential sponsors based on their influence, position, and commitment to the change. Once identified, these sponsors need to be actively engaged and aligned on the vision, strategy, and their specific roles. This often involves workshops and one-on-one coaching to ensure they understand their responsibilities, which include actively and visibly communicating the change, championing it with their direct reports, and removing obstacles. Regular meetings and communication among the coalition members are crucial to maintain alignment, address challenges, and reinforce their collective commitment. It's also important to identify and address any resistance or misalignment within the sponsorship group itself. By fostering a strong, unified, and active sponsorship coalition, change managers can significantly increase the likelihood of successful change adoption, as employees are more likely to embrace a change when they see their leaders consistently and enthusiastically supporting it. This collective leadership acts as the primary driver and legitimizer of the entire change effort. Training and development for change. Training and development are indispensable components of effective change management, ensuring that employees acquire the necessary skills and knowledge to thrive in the new environment. When new systems, processes, or roles are introduced, individuals often lack the competencies required to perform effectively. Providing targeted training helps bridge this gap, reducing anxiety and increasing confidence. It's not merely about technical instruction. It also encompasses developing new behaviors, mindsets, and problem-solving approaches. A well-designed training program addresses the specific needs of different employee groups, recognizing that impact and learning requirements vary. Without adequate training, employees may struggle to adapt, leading to frustration, errors, decreased productivity, and ultimately resistance to the change. Therefore, investing in comprehensive training and development is crucial for empowering the workforce and ensuring the successful adoption of new ways of working. Developing a successful training and development plan involves several key steps. Firstly, a thorough training needs analysis must be conducted to identify the specific skills and knowledge gaps created by the change. This involves assessing current capabilities against future requirements. Secondly, appropriate training methods should be selected, which can include workshops, e-learning modules, on-the-job coaching, or simulations, tailored to the learning styles and availability of the target audience. Thirdly, clear learning objectives must be established, ensuring that training content is relevant and measurable. Fourthly, qualified trainers and facilitators should be engaged to deliver the content effectively. Finally, the plan must include mechanisms for evaluating the effectiveness of the training, assessing whether learning objectives were met, and if the new skills are being applied in practice. Ongoing support and reinforcement after formal training are also critical to embed new behaviors. By systematically addressing skill gaps and fostering continuous learning, organizations can ensure their workforce is fully equipped to embrace and sustain the benefits of the change, turning potential challenges into opportunities for individual and collective growth. Managing resistance to change. Managing resistance to change is an ongoing and critical aspect of any transformation effort. As previously discussed, resistance is a natural human reaction, often stemming from fear, uncertainty, or a perceived threat. Effective management involves proactive strategies to prevent resistance from escalating and reactive tactics to address it when it arises. The goal is not to eliminate resistance entirely, but to understand its root causes and transform it into constructive engagement. Ignoring resistance or trying to suppress it often leads to covert opposition, decreased morale, and eventual project failure. A successful change manager views resistance as valuable feedback, indicating areas where communication, support, or the change itself may need adjustment. It provides an opportunity to listen, empathize, and involve employees in finding solutions. Therefore, a nuanced and empathetic approach is far more effective than a confrontational one. Key strategies for managing resistance include active listening and open dialogue, providing opportunities for employees to voice their concerns and ask questions in a safe environment. Clear and consistent communication, explaining the why behind the change and its benefits, helps alleviate uncertainty. Involvement and participation, where employees are given a role in shaping the change, can significantly increase buy-in and ownership. Providing adequate support, such as training, coaching, and resources, empowers individuals to adapt to new ways of working. Negotiating and agreeing on compromises, where feasible, can address specific concerns without derailing the overall change. Finally, in rare cases of persistent and disruptive resistance, coercive measures might be necessary, but these should always be a last resort. By employing a combination of these strategies, change managers can effectively navigate resistance, turning potential obstacles into pathways for successful adoption and sustained organizational transformation. This multifaceted approach ensures that the human side of change is handled with care and strategic foresight. Celebrating early wins and sustaining momentum. Celebrating early wins is a powerful tactic in change management, crucial for building momentum and reinforcing positive behaviors. Small, visible successes provide tangible evidence that the change is working, boosting morale and validating the efforts of those involved. These early wins create a sense of progress and reduce skepticism, making it easier for individuals to embrace further stages of the transformation. They also provide opportunities to recognize and reward employees who are actively supporting the change, fostering a culture of appreciation and encouragement. Without acknowledging progress, change initiatives can feel like endless uphill battles, leading to fatigue and disengagement. Therefore, strategically identifying and celebrating these milestones is essential for maintaining energy and commitment throughout the change journey. It transforms abstract goals into concrete achievements, inspiring continued participation. To effectively sustain momentum, early wins must be strategically identified, communicated, and celebrated. This involves setting clear, achievable, short-term goals that align with the overall change vision. Once achieved, these successes should be widely publicized through various communication channels, highlighting the contributions of individuals and teams. The celebration doesn't always need to be grand. It can be a simple acknowledgement in a team meeting, a company-wide announcement, or a small reward. Beyond celebrations, sustaining momentum requires continuous communication, reinforcing the why behind the change and its ongoing benefits. Regular feedback loops help monitor progress and address any emerging challenges promptly. Furthermore, empowering employees to take ownership of the change and continuously seeking their input fosters a sense of shared responsibility. As the change progresses, new short-term wins should be identified and celebrated, creating a continuous cycle of positive reinforcement. This ongoing effort ensures that the change remains a priority, preventing it from losing steam and ultimately embedding it into the organizational culture for long-term success. Measuring change success and ROI. Measuring the success and return on investment, ROI, of change initiatives is crucial for demonstrating value, justifying future investments, and ensuring accountability. It moves change management beyond a soft skill to a strategic discipline with measurable impact. Success metrics can vary depending on the nature of the change, but typically include adoption rates, proficiency levels, and business outcomes. Adoption refers to the percentage of employees actively using the new system or process. Proficiency measures how well employees are performing in the new way. Business outcomes directly link the change to tangible organizational benefits, such as increased productivity, cost savings, or improved customer satisfaction. Without clear metrics, it's impossible to determine if the change has achieved its objectives or delivered the expected value. This measurement provides critical data for continuous improvement and strategic decision-making. Stop. Calculating the ROI of change management involves comparing the benefits realized from the change against the costs of implementing and managing it. Benefits can include increased revenue, reduced operational costs, improved efficiency, and enhanced employee retention. Costs encompass direct expenses like training, communication, and change management resources, as well as indirect costs like temporary productivity dips. A comprehensive ROI analysis helps articulate the financial value of investing in change management, demonstrating that it is not merely an overhead, but a strategic enabler of business results. Furthermore, measuring success allows organizations to identify what worked well and what could be improved for future change initiatives, fostering a culture of continuous learning and optimization. This systematic evaluation ensures that change management practices are continuously refined, leading to more effective and impactful transformations over time. It provides concrete evidence that effective change management is a strategic imperative for organizational health and growth. Embedding change into culture. Embedding change into the organizational culture is the final and most crucial step in ensuring its long-term sustainability. It means that the new ways of working, behaviors, and mindsets become the new normal and are no longer perceived as temporary initiatives. This process involves integrating the change into the organization's core values, beliefs, and daily practices. Without successful embedding, organizations risk reverting to old habits, losing the benefits gained from the change effort. Cultural embedding requires consistent reinforcement, alignment of systems and structures, and leadership by example. It's about shifting the collective mindset so that the new behaviors are intrinsically motivated and self-sustaining. This deep integration ensures that the change is not just adopted, but truly owned by everyone within the organization. It transforms the organization's identity, making the change an inherent part of its DNA. Key strategies for embedding change into culture include aligning reward and recognition systems to reinforce desired new behaviors. Performance management processes should be updated to reflect the new expectations and competencies. Leadership must consistently model the new behaviors and communicate the importance of the change, demonstrating unwavering commitment. Storytelling about successful adoption and positive outcomes can help solidify the new culture. Furthermore, integrating the change into onboarding processes for new employees ensures that they learn the new ways from the outset. Continuous feedback loops and ongoing communication help monitor cultural shifts and address any emerging challenges. Over time, as new behaviors become habitual and are supported by the organizational environment, they become ingrained in the culture. This deep cultural integration is the ultimate measure of change success. ensuring that the transformation yields lasting benefits and positions the organization for future adaptability and growth. It signifies that the organization has truly evolved and is prepared for continuous improvement.